Hello, everybody, and welcome to Between the Bumps Professional Wrestling Podcast, the pro wrestling podcast where we go between the bumps in the ring to discuss match quality, storylines, wrestling news, and even make predictions in the world of professional wrestling and sports entertainment. I'm your host, Christian Marrero. Thank you for tuning in. What is up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Between the Bumps Professional Wrestling Podcast. This is the Smackdown review show, and Smackdown was pretty good this week. I'm not gonna lie, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed this show. It was actually really good. I had a lot of fun watching this show. So, I'm going to address a couple of things before I get into it. First off, WWE had a small number of fans in attendance this week for both Raw and SmackDown. And in my opinion, they should not do this anymore. I miss fans too. I wish we had fans in the arena. I wish everything going on in the world did not prevent us from having fans. However, safety should be the top priority. They had a talent test positive this week. They had to stop tapings because one of their talents tested positive. They should not have fans in the arena. This is not a smart idea, especially because they've banned face masks. They're not letting people wear face masks. So they have pretty much just thrown safety out the window, and I don't like that. That's not fair to the wrestlers. It's not fair to the fans. It's not fair to anybody. So I really think WWE should stop that. Second thing I'm going to address. In the first segment this week on SmackDown, Matt Riddle was involved. Now, if you are following wrestling news at all, you know that Matt Riddle is been put in the spotlight because of the hashtag speaking out movement that is happening. A lot of people coming out with physical, emotional, and sexual abuse allegations in the world of pro wrestling, and Matt Riddle is one of them. Now listen, here's what I'm going to say, and I'm going to keep this short. If Matt Riddle did what he is accused of doing, he should be punished accordingly. However, if he did not do what he is accused of doing, he should be allowed to work. It should not hinder his work, and it should not hinder his place on the card. I don't know who to believe because I am not a lawyer. I am not a law enforcement officer. I am not involved in this other than a fan watching from the outside looking in. Now, certain allegations have been made against him. He has rebutted these, saying they are not true and that the person making them has been stalking him. His wife corroborated this. His lawyers corroborated this. So I really don't know what to believe. I don't. All I know is that if he is guilty, he should be punished. If he is not guilty, he should be allowed to live his life. And that's all I'm going to say regarding Matt Riddle. He is involved in the first segment, so I needed to say that before I carry on with the review. Now, let's jump into the review since we got those two things out of the way. So we start off with AJ Styles Championship Celebration. So Styles comes out after being introduced by Renee Young, who put him over real hard. Styles calls himself an accolade machine, and he reminds us that SmackDown is the house that AJ Styles built. And he tells the people surrounding the ring, because all of the wrestlers were out for this segment, that is the closest that they will ever get to the IC title. And he says this milestone means vindication to him. It means that everything he's ever said is true, that his hard work is paid off, and then he says that Renee Young is not the right person to present him with the title. She's not the right person to put the title on his waist. The right person is none other than Daniel Bryan. So Daniel gets in the ring, he grabs the belt, and he contemplates it for a minute. The crowd is chanting no as he's entering the ring and holding the belt. And AJ tells him, look, out of respect, don't be a coward and put the belt around my waist. So Daniel Bryan puts the belt on AJ, and he says congratulations, kind of under his breath, but AJ tells him, no, say it like a man. And so Daniel grabs the microphone, he's like, okay, you want me to say a few words? I'll say a few words. And AJ's like, no, that's not what I said. I told you to tell me congratulations and that's it. But Daniel says, you know what? I'm going to say a few words. And he says, you were the last week. You were the better man last week, AJ. Last week you beat me. You were the better man. And I infinitely respect your ability in this ring. you could very well be the greatest Intercontinental Champion in history. If, and only if, you show up every week, defend your title against the hungry people that are surrounding this ring. AJ gets mad, and he tells Bryan, you know what? I am not you. Your vision is not my vision. I will only defend this title against someone on my own level. And he says, AJ, if you're adamant about people earning things, Gulak beat you a couple weeks ago. He's earned his opportunity. Why don't you give him an opportunity? And AJ says, no. They have to earn their title shot by becoming the number one contender. And honestly, the next person to run their mouth is going to get their ass beat. That is when the bro, Matt Riddle, comes out to interrupt. He gets into the ring, kicks off his flip-flops, and the classic, what's up, bro? And AJ says, no. All I see is some dude with no shoes. And Riddle's like, it's cool, bro. I never wear shoes. And AJ says, Riddle, you're just another person looking for a handout. And Riddle says, no, actually, I'm not here asking for anything. I'm here to give you some advice. I heard that you're the face that runs the place. Well, I want you to know I'm the bro that's gonna run the show. And so AJ puts down his title. He attacks Riddle. Riddle fights back. He kicks AJ out of the ring. Styles is pissed, and he calls for a ref. So we return from commercial to get our first match, which is AJ Styles versus Matt Riddle. The announcers and the commentators said that this was going to be an Intercontinental Championship match. But AJ takes the mic and says, no, it's not going to be an Intercontinental Championship match. In fact, no shoes, no shirt, no championship title match. That's literally what he said. So this match was really good. It was really good. They were very hard-hitting in this match, very stiff. I think AJ has just decided, you know what, I had a lot of fun wrestling Daniel Bryan like we were in Japan last week. I'm just going to keep doing that. And of course, Matt Riddle can handle it. Matt Riddle can handle it, and he can dish it out. It was a really good match. It was a great showing. A great showing for Matt Riddle. So, Matt Riddle wins the match by pinfall, oddly enough, an upset, after catching AJ in the Bro Garrick, because Styles had gotten into a spat on the outside with Daniel Bryan. So all the wrestlers flood the ring and they celebrate Riddle's win with Matt Riddle after the match. And it was a really good match. Like I said, it was very enjoyable, very hard-hitting. AJ really did his best to put Riddle over and make him look good doing it. It was hard-hitting. They were very physical. They were very stiff. This was a really good start to SmackDown. Like, this was a really great way to start SmackDown. The segment before and the match, it was a very fun way to start SmackDown. The match and the segment took up like 30 minutes, something like that, and it did not feel like it at all. It really didn't. It just flew by those 30 minutes. It was very, very good. A very good start to SmackDown. This was a great match, great showing for Matt Riddle. I don't know if he's going to be on the show next week because of what we have addressed. But this week he did a good job. And like I said, if the allegations against him prove to be false, he should be allowed to continue doing a good job. Then we see Jeff Hardy backstage. And he looks very spaced out, disheartened, as Michael Cole put it. He's just kind of not there, just staring off into the distance. A backstage hand comes up, puts a microphone on him, and it's to prepare for an interview that we are going to get with him after the commercial break. So we return from the commercial break, and we get this Jeff Hardy backstage interview. And Jeff says the last few weeks have been a roller coaster, both physically and mentally for him. He feels like he's been trying to turn his life around, his entire adult life. And just when he feels like he's turning things around, he extinguishes one fire and another is ignited. He says he's lost a lot of matches, and he's gonna lose more. But losing to Sheamus is different because Sheamus is a constant reminder about what he dislikes about himself. And that he thought that if he could just beat Sheamus, it'll prove that he's resilient and he's strong. But after losing, the negative thoughts have come back to the surface. But the bottom line is, he has to catch himself before those negative thoughts spiral out of control. And that just because Sheamus is saying these things about him, and even if he himself believes it, it doesn't make it the truth. He says what the truth is yes, I am a junkie. In fact, my entire life, I've been an adrenaline junkie. That's why I seek that high. And yes, I am an alcoholic, and that is okay. I am recovering. Sheamus is just another bully. He's just a bully and another obstacle on my road to redemption. And then he says, I am a human anomaly, and I'm not done yet. Now listen, this was a great segment. Jeff Hardy is a great talker. He's a great talker, and he always says weird things like human anomaly. But Jeff, you could have just said that you are a human anomaly. Human anomaly sounded really weird, and it really cut through the energy he was building here. I love Jeff Hardy. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Jeff Hardy, when I was a kid, was like my favorite wrestler. And even to this day, he's one of my favorites. He's always going to be one of my favorites. And he had this amazing energy building up. And then he said the word human anomaly. And it just cut right through all that energy. Just cut right through it like a hot knife. Jeff, it is okay if you just use normal words. No one will be mad at you. We will forgive you. You are a human anomaly. Human anomaly sounds like some kind of weird growth. Please don't ever say that again. Other than that one moment, this was a really good segment. This was a really great backstage segment. Jeff Hardy garners sympathy like he was born garnering sympathy. Like, he's really good. I'm sorry if you can hear the cats outside fighting. There are two cats outside fighting. Anyways, he said that word, and it just cut right through all the great energy and the great segment that he was building. So that's the one qualm I have with it. But other than that, this was a really good segment. Really garners Jeff some sympathy. Makes you feel for him. Then we get another backstage segment, and it's Chad Gable. I refuse to call him by what they call him on TV. I'm not even going to say it. Chad Gable is working out on some wires backstage, and Caleb Braxton comes up and asks how much the height and weight disadvantage against Mojo Rawley worries him. That height and weight disadvantage specifically is 8 inches and over 60 pounds of a difference. And Gable says, you know what, I'm not really worried. I have faced heavyweights my entire life, and heavyweights are all the same. They don't know what it's like to have eyes in the back of your head. And then he turns and punches Mojo in the face as Mojo was sneaking up behind him. That leads us into the next match. It was Chad Gable versus Mojo Rawley. Now, this match was pretty short. In fact, it was really short. It only went like 3 to 5 minutes. But Gable wins with the inside cradle, or as Simon Miller would call it, the most devastating move in all of pro wrestling and all of sports entertainment, the surprise roll-up. The match itself, though, was good. It really was. They were very hard-hitting. They were very physical with each other. It was a really good match. Chad Gable, and I've said this before on the podcast, I'm saying it again, he is criminally underrated. He's so talented. I really wish WWE would just do more with him. I'm glad that Gable got the win. Even if it was with a surprise roll-up, an inside cradle, whatever. I'm glad he got the win. Hopefully, this means that WWE is going to start building him as a serious contender. He's been getting wins over the past couple of weeks. He is an Olympic wrestler. He has a great body, a great physique. He's so good at garnering sympathy, and he could be, because of his background, a really believable threat. You could build Chad Gable just like TNA Kurt Angle. You really could. As just a wrestling machine who beats the crap out of everybody. And it would be believable, and he could still be a babyface doing it. I think they should do more with Chad Gable. I really do. Following the match, we got Miz TV with Mandy Rose. Now, I'm surprised they didn't do the dirt sheet. I thought they were going to do the dirt sheet because John Morrison was out there with him. It was pretty much the dirt sheet. We just called it Miz TV. So, Miz goes on to say that they need to address the elephant in the room. To which John Morrison replies, Otis? And Miz says, no, not Otis. What we need to talk about is this. You had Strowman pinned at Backlash, and I pulled you off. And the reason I pulled you off is because I lost sight of the long game. But the only reason I lost sight of the long game is because they came in at the last minute and they changed the rules of the match. We were planning to be the co-universal champions. And they just took that away. And not only that, but we had to look over our shoulder the entire time because of Mr. Money in the Bank Otis. And that's not fair. So then Miz goes to introduce Mandy, and when he introduces Mandy, he does his spiel about her, and he goes, Mandy Rose. He does that Mandy whisper. That was great. I laughed. I love The Miz. Okay? The Miz is the greatest talker in WWE today, bar none. Bar none. He is funny. Every time he has a microphone in his hand, I am leaning in, laser focused, and I want to hear what he's got to say. Even if it's ridiculous. Because he even makes ridiculousness sound fucking great. I love The Miz. The Miz deserves so much credit. So he did the Mandy. And Mandy comes out. And The Miz asks her about Sonya Deville. Asks how long they've been best friends. Mandy says that her and Deville were best friends for 5 years. And Miz asks if she's noticed that she is upstaging Sonya. Then John adds, stealing the spotlight. Then Miz says that she was a terrible friend. Then John says that Sonya's the better fighter anyway. And then Miz says that she defeated Mandy twice. This was all in one question, by the way. And Mandy, obviously upset, says, look, I did not come out here to be insulted by you two. I'm gonna go. And Miz says, look, I'm sorry, we were just joking. We aren't taking you seriously, but now being serious, we have a surprise for you. And their surprise was Sonya Deville. And Mandy goes on to tell Sonya, look, Sonya, you're the one who went behind my back. You tried to sabotage my career and my personal life. I'm done with all this nonsense. And Sonya says, oh, well, it's great that you're done, but I literally cannot be done. Because you keep getting the spotlight even though you don't deserve it. And not only that, you have done nothing with the opportunities you've been given. The only thing of worth that you have done is make out with Otis poolside. Congratulations. That's great job. So Mandy asks Sonya, look, what do you want? What do you want from me? You can hurt me physically, but I'm still here. You can try to hurt me emotionally, but I have people standing by me. Otis has been with me this whole time, and he's been loyal. What do you have? Sonya, what do you have other than being a fighter? Yeah, you're a great fighter, you're a great athlete, but you're all alone. No one actually cares about you. How long are you going to hold on to these petty resentments? And Sonya says, no, man, you've got me all wrong. I'm not mad at you anymore. I'm just confused. I'm confused as to what I have to do to get the Mandy Rose treatment. Then she goes on to imply that the only reason Mandy gets her opportunities is because of her appearance. And then she says that she will make Mandy look as ugly on the outside as she does on the inside. And then her and Mandy start to brawl. And Mandy actually gets the better of this brawl. So much so that Sonya hides behind The Miz and then rolls out of the ring. Mandy then slaps The Miz, ends the segment. This was actually a good segment. This was probably the best segment they've done between these two. Like, it really was. Like, Sonya Deville, I've said it before, she's an underrated talker. She's got really good character. Like, I think if you really just let her run with whatever she's doing and not try to overbook her or overscript her, I think Sonya Deville could actually do a really good job on the mic. And, like, in the ring, we know she's great. We know she's talented. So Sonya's very underrated. And Mandy is getting better. Mandy's getting better at talking and coming off as believable. So this was a good segment. I'm not going to shit on this segment. This segment was really good. Following that, we get a tag team match with The New Day taking on the Lucha House Party, and Bayley and Sasha Banks were on commentary. So this match was really pretty much what you'd expect from The New Day and Lucha House Party. A lot of high flying, Big E throwing a lot of people around, but it was good. Very fast paced, very entertaining. It was a good match. Banks and Bayley were awesome on commentary. I mean, they bounce off of each other so well. They really do. Like, Bayley doesn't have this heel character down as well as Sasha does. Sasha's just a much more natural heel. But during this segment, during this match, them on commentary was fucking great. It was hilarious. They said a lot of lines that really cracked me up. They really did. And so after the match, Cesaro and Nakamura attack the New Day. And Cesaro goes up to the commentary desk after they hit their new tag team finisher, which is like that whirl, the spin that Cesaro does into the Kinshasa. It's kind of cool, actually. So Cesaro goes up to the commentary desk and he's like, look, we are tired. We are sick and tired of being overlooked by you. He's like, mention that. Why don't you mention how we beat them last week, Michael Cole? You didn't even talk about that. Why not? Why are you just completely ignoring us? And then he says, for 8 years, y'all have been treating me like this. And he just walks off. And this was good. This was good because it came from reality. It came from a place of truth because that is true. That is really how WWE has been treating Cesaro for the last 8 years. And Cesaro might be the most underrated professional wrestler, not only in WWE, but in the industry as a whole. Cesaro is so good. He can be good on the mic. We saw that when he was United States champion when he first debuted. He can be good in the ring. He's amazing in the ring. He is a freak athlete. He is underrated as hell. And Shinsuke Nakamura entered the company not underrated. Everyone was excited for that. But then they just squandered him. So everything Cesaro said here was true. And that's what made that segment all the better. Then we got a really random backstage segment with Alexa Bliss, Naomi, Lacey Evans, Tamina, and Dana Brooke. And they were in another area of the Performance Center where they have all the training rings. And they're sitting on a ring, and they start bickering over who's going to challenge Bayley and Sasha. So Dana cuts through all the bickering, and she's like, look. We all deserve an opportunity. We all deserve the chance to show that we, and I quote, are not filler. Alexa cuts her off, and she's like, whoa, hold that thought. Where'd Nikki go? Where's Nikki? And nobody seems to know. Nobody knows where Nikki Cross is. Then we get an interview with Sheamus backstage. And Sheamus says, you know what? I've realized that things have become very serious between me and Jeff Hardy. And some lines have been crossed. And he's like, look, Jeff called me a bully earlier. And you know what? He's right. I am a bully. But people like Jeff, they deserve to be bullied. My only regret from Sunday at Backlash was not crushing Jeff's voice box so we wouldn't have to hear all that mopey stuff he said earlier. He's like, look, Jeff doesn't really believe anything he said earlier about being strong and resilient. But you know what? I'm going to help pick Jeff up. I'm going to help him. Next week, I'm going to have a toast to Jeff Hardy. Then we cut back to the commentators table where Bayley and Sasha Banks still are. I thought they were going to be on commentary for the rest of the night, which honestly I would not have been opposed to. But Bayley and Sasha Banks are sitting there, and Nikki Cross comes like a bat out of hell and attacks them. So that's where she was. She was planning her sneak attack. Alexa comes out, she pulls Nikki off, and Nikki challenges Sasha Banks, and Bayley accepts on Sasha's behalf. That's their whole gimmick here, that Bayley kind of treats Sasha like a pet. So then we get Sasha Banks versus Nikki Cross. And this was a good match. It was good. You know, it wasn't bad. It was not the best, but it certainly was not the worst. It was good. So Banks wins by pinfall after the Meteora. And I was caught off guard because 1, she did not hit the Meteora from the top rope. And 2, she generally does not finish matches with the Meteora. But she did this time, so I was not expecting it. And it was like, whoa, got me interested immediately. I do want to talk about this, though. I get Nikki Cross's gimmick is supposed to be the crazy, like, tweaked out chick. But at one point, because, you know, Nikki's always slapping her chest. But at one point, she took both her hands and was just straight slapping her titties. Like, it looked kind of painful. I imagine it was painful after the fact. I'm not gonna lie. I understand her slapping her chest, but she was legit slapping both of her titties. Just clapping them. And I guess, like, Nikki knows not to hit herself too hard, but still, it looked like that would hurt. I don't have titties, okay? I'm not a woman. I don't have breasts. I don't know what it would be like to slap my own titties, but she was slapping them hard. And, like, I know I shouldn't even be focusing on this, but, like, it really just got me thinking. Like, either Nikki Cross was running on adrenaline, and she's just really good at that, or she's willing to sacrifice her titties to build a moment. I don't know. Nikki Cross, please don't slap your titties anymore. You don't deserve that. We love you, Nikki Cross. You don't have to slap your titties for us. Slap your sternum. There's something solid there. Don't slap your titties. That looks like it hurts. Anyways, Sasha works really well as a heel, both on the mic and in the ring. Like, she's so good at working a heel style. It was a good match. Like I said, the finish caught me off guard, but in this case, that was a really good thing. It kept me interested. Then, it was announced that Titus O'Neil has won the Muhammad Ali Humanitarian Award. Congrats to him. That dude deserves it. Everything points to the fact that he is just the nicest, most pure human being on planet Earth. So, like, congrats to the big man. Dude, Titus O'Neil, Titus worldwide, congratulations on your achievement, buddy. I'm super happy for him. Then we got the Firefly Funhouse, and we have not seen Bray or these segments for a while. For the past few weeks, for almost a month, I think. Ever since Bray lost to Strowman at, I don't even remember the pay-per-view. The one after WrestleMania. I don't remember which one it was, but he lost to Strowman. Money in the Bank. It was Money in the Bank where he lost to Strowman. We have not seen him since then, and absence really does make the heart grow fonder. Because when they announced that we were getting a new Firefly Funhouse episode, I was so excited. I was super excited. So Bray comes on the screen, and he's like, hey, have you missed me? I know I've been gone a while. Well, let me tell you what I've been up to the past couple weeks. I've learned some TikTok dances, I learned how to knit, I invaded a reptilian stronghold, and I even learned to resurrect the dead. That's important. So Braun interrupts mid-segment, and Braun tells Bray, look, I beat you. The story between me and you, it's over. It is over. Bray says, no, sir. Your story is just beginning. Remember me saying how I learned how to resurrect the dead? And he starts to talk in his old Wyatt family accent. His old cult leader gimmick accent. The Louisianan kind of, drawl that he had. And he confirms he resurrected the Wyatt version of his character, the Wyatt family version of his character. That cult leader, that cult leader character from the Wyatt family. He brought it back. And as the Wyatt family version of himself, he says that he created Braun. And it is his duty to destroy him. And then he tells Braun, you know where to find me, Braun. All you have to do is follow the buzzards. Run. Great segment. First off, the Firefly Funhouses are almost always great. This one was really wacky, like to start. And I'm very intrigued. Bray just brought back his character. Now, if WWE does this right, like they should have the first time, Bray Wyatt could have 3 great characters to play with. I'm very intrigued. This was a perfect segment to end the show because I am now looking forward to next week. I now want to see what is going to happen next week. I am interested. I am intrigued. I am looking forward to next week, and that is what the end of a show should do if it doesn't end in a way that just makes you happy. A show should always either end by making you feel very satisfied or end by making you feel very intrigued and leave you wanting more. This week, it accomplished the latter. It left me wanting more. So good job on that, WWE. This was a great segment. Bray Wyatt is just a great character. He's so smart. So, for me, this was a 9 out of 10 show. I really can't find anything to complain about. There was nothing bad about tonight's show. Some matches were better than others, but that's just how, that's the nature of the beast. That's how this business works. I do hope WWE stops letting fans attend these shows after their positive test. I don't think they will because Vince is stubborn, but I really hope for the safety of everybody that they stop letting fans attend these shows. Like, for now, until things return to normalcy and the whole global situation is under control, especially now that Florida is becoming the new epicenter for the global situation, letting fans in is a bad call. Especially since they're not letting them wear face masks. Bad call, WWE. They should I really hope they don't let fans in the shows anymore. I hope that they learned their lessons. I hope that they learned from this mistake. One of their talents tested positive. I really hope they stop letting fans attend these shows. It is just too early. For the safety of everybody, fans need to be kept out for now. It sucks. I know that it sucks. I wish we could have full-blown arena shows with fans and just the crowd noise. I miss it just like any other fan misses it. I miss it too. But the safety of everyone should be paramount. The safety of everyone should be the priority. So, fans have to stop being let in. But other than that, SmackDown was really good this week. It was really good. I really enjoyed this show. 9 out of 10 show, easy. Good job, SmackDown. You've kept me interested, which is more than what I can say for Raw. And like I said, Raw hasn't been bad, just hasn't been as interesting. Well, everybody, this has been Between the Bumps Professional Wrestling Podcast, the pro wrestling podcast where we go between the bumps in the ring to discuss match quality, storylines, wrestling news, and even make predictions in the world of professional wrestling and sports entertainment. I'm your host, Christian Marrero. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Comment below. Let me know what you thought of SmackDown this week. Stay safe, and I'll catch you guys later.